Smartphone 101. Understand and use smartphone for beginners 3. In this video, you will learn how to connect your smartphone to available Wi-Fi and how to turn Wi-Fi on and off quickly and easily on a smartphone from Control Center. Let's first learn how to connect your smartphone to available Wi-Fi. Before you connect your smartphone to Wi-Fi, you need to know the name of Wi-Fi which you are trying to connect. Each router, each Wi-Fi has a unique name. Why does a router need a name? That's because, like you use a router at your home, many of other houses around you also have routers. And when you try to connect your phone to a wireless router at your home, your phone sees all the wireless routers around your house. And it has to know which wireless router among those routers around you, including the one at your home, it should connect. And that's why when routers are made at factories, a name is attached to each router. And when a router is installed at home, its name can be changed to any name you want to. For example, the router at our house is named as Ion 1004, and the one at the next door is named Amy 123. And the other houses around your home named theirs as James 11, Miller 777, and etc. Of course, you can just use the name given at the factory, which is usually a combination of characters and numbers. And when you look at the screen of your phone, where you can connect to a Wi-Fi, you will see the names of all the available routers. And it will be shown under networks, or sometimes it says available networks. And to connect to the router installed at your home, you just need to tap the name of your router from the screen, which is Ion 1004. And when you select the router name that you want to connect to, you might be prompted to enter a password. So what is this password? Think it as that it's similar to the security system at your home. You lock your home door to prevent a random person to get into your house without your permission, right? So you do the same thing with the router at your home. You lock your router, and only those who have key can connect to your router. And the key for the router is called password. For the router which has the lock icon next to the router name, you need a key, the password, to connect to this router. On the other hand, there are routers without the lock icon next to it. The Jameses and the last one. And this means that you don't need to type a password to connect to their router. So if you just tap this router name, your phone can be connected to their router and use their internet, which I don't recommend unless you get their permission. Then what does this icon means? This tells how strong the signal is between your smartphone and each of the router. The signal from the router at your house, the Ion 1004, is stronger than those from Amy's or James's. So the internet will be faster if I connect to Ion 1004. When you are at home, even if the signal from the other house's router is stronger than your house, you have to connect to the router at your home. However, if you are trying to connect to a public router or public Wi-Fi, then connecting to the one with a stronger signal like this one means that the internet will be faster than if you connect it to the router with weaker signal. So it's good to understand what these icons tell you. At the store or a public place where Wi-Fi is provided, you will see the Wi-Fi signs like this or this. The router name is listed as network. Sometimes it says network ID or SSID, like you see here. And if the router is locked with a password, then it is provided as password, like it shows here. In many cases, the router name is only posted, like you see in this picture. So it only says Wi-Fi and coffee beans. So if you only see the name of Wi-Fi, you don't need to put a password to connect to it. So you just select the router name, coffee beans, from your phone, and the phone will be connected to their router. If you want to know whether the store provides Wi-Fi for its consumers, you can just ask, do you have Wi-Fi here? What's the Wi-Fi name and password? Then you can use the store's internet with the information provided to you. Before you learn how to connect your smartphone to a Wi-Fi or to a router, you need to know if your smartphone is currently connected to a mobile carrier network or a local router, a Wi-Fi. The way that you can check this is with the icons at the upper right corner of your phone. As I mentioned earlier, these vertical bars show how strong the connection is between your phone and your mobile carrier network. And depending on which icon you see next to these vertical bars, you can tell if your smartphone is connected to the mobile carrier network or to a router, to a Wi-Fi. If your smartphone is connected to a router, to a Wi-Fi, this Wi-Fi icon appears next to the vertical bars. However, if your phone is connected to a mobile carrier network and not to the router, then you will see these kind of number and letters, 5G, LTE, 4G, etc., next to the vertical bars. So simply, if you don't see the Wi-Fi icon next to the vertical bars, then your phone is connected to a mobile carrier network. Now let me show you the steps of how to see the list of available routers, available Wi-Fi from your smartphone and how to connect to a router. If you look at the upper right corner of this phone, you can tell this smartphone is connected to a carrier network and not to a Wi-Fi. To connect to a Wi-Fi, first go to Settings from the home screen. And under Settings, you will see Wi-Fi, so tap Wi-Fi. And in here, you will be able to see whether your phone's Wi-Fi feature is turned on or not, and also the names of the available routers around your smartphone. If the switch next to the Wi-Fi is green like this one, it means that the Wi-Fi is turned on. And if it's gray like this, that means the Wi-Fi is turned off. So to turn it on, just tap the switch and you will see it turns to green. And below that, under Networks, you will see the names of all available routers around you. So from this list, you just need to tap the name of a router that you want to connect to. For example, if you are at a coffee shop and see this information about the store's Wi-Fi, then you can tell the router name, the Wi-Fi name is Totem Forest Guest, and password is 1234567 So from your phone, you just tap Totem Forest Guest from the list. And as you can see here, there is a lock icon next to this router's name, which means you need to put a password to connect to this router. So when you tap the router name, it asks you to put the password. So you tap here and put the password, which is 1234567 And after you put all the password, then you will see this join button at the upper right corner of the screen. So tap this join to connect to the router. And now if you look at the upper right corner of the phone screen, you'll see this Wi-Fi icon next to the vertical bars, which means this phone is now connected to a Wi-Fi. Now, depending on the situation, you may need to turn off the Wi-Fi and use the mobile carrier network or vice versa. Let me give you some examples. When the signal between your smartphone and the router is very weak, you remember this picture? Then the internet will be very slow. Even sending or receiving simple text can take long time if the signal is very weak. So in this case, it's better to turn off Wi-Fi and use the carrier network. Another example is when you look at the security critical information from your phone, such as using a mobile banking app to check the balance on your bank account, then I suggest you to use the carrier network and not the public Wi-Fi. Because public Wi-Fi, other people can also easily connect it to the Wi-Fi and your information can be exposed to other people. Now let's look at the opposite cases. When I went to a library, I only had one or no vertical bar, which means I had very weak signal from my mobile carrier network. So in this situation, I connected my phone to the library Wi-Fi to send and receive urgent messages and to use the internet from my phone. Or when you need to use a lot of data, such as watching YouTube videos from your phone, then also make sure to connect to a Wi-Fi, especially, like I said before, if you don't have an unlimited data plan. Now let's see how to turn Wi-Fi on and off quickly and easily from the control center. There are a few ways to turn Wi-Fi on and off on your smartphone. Let me show you a quick and simple way to turn Wi-Fi off and on. At the upper right corner of the screen, drag a finger from top to bottom. Then it will bring up a control center where you can quickly adjust various features of your smartphone, such as volume, screen brightness, and etc. And from here, you can tap this Wi-Fi icon to turn it off and on. If the Wi-Fi icon is blue, then it means the Wi-Fi is currently on. If you tap the icon, it changes to white, which means the Wi-Fi is turned off. And to turn to the home screen, drag a finger upward from the bottom of the screen. Now, if you look at the upper right corner of your phone screen, you don't see the Wi-Fi icon, which means your phone is connected to your mobile carrier network. Let's go back to the control center by dragging a finger from top to bottom at the upper right corner of the screen. And tap the Wi-Fi icon again to turn on Wi-Fi this time. The Wi-Fi icon turns to blue, showing that the Wi-Fi is now turned on. And now you can see the Wi-Fi icon at the upper right corner of the phone screen, indicating that it's connected to Wi-Fi. For the iPhone 9 and the previous model, the model that has the home button on the phone, to get to the control center, you need to drag a finger upward from the bottom of the screen. And again, you can tap Wi-Fi to turn it off and on from here. Then to go to the home screen, you either press the home button on the phone or drag a finger from top of the screen to bottom. The way you quickly turn on and off the Wi-Fi from Galaxy phone is similar to iPhone 12. You need to drag a finger from top of the screen to bottom. And then you can tap Wi-Fi icon to turn it off and turn it on. And to go back to the home screen, you need to tap this home button icon.